Hello everyone and welcome back to Make the Music, and today we're going to be matching the tone from A Day to Remember. Okay, an awesome, very sick band. We're going to be matching the tone sort of from the more classic era of A Day to Remember, like Common Courtesy, What Separates Me From You, Homesick, that sort of era of A Day to Remember. They've kind of changed their sound a little bit since then on some of their more recent albums, but we're going to be exploring that here in this video. I have a free guide called the Home Studio Toolbox. You can get that guide 100% free in the description box down below. It's a free guide plus access to a bunch of stems of the match the sounds I have done. You can also check out the other tone match videos I've done on my channel. Anyways, let's get into this one here. Let's get into the DAW. I have Bias FX2 pulled up. This applies to any other amp stem, okay? So like Bias FX2 is not special. Really, you want to try and match the amp and cab model as much as possible. I'm using my Ibanez guitar here. It's in drop C. That's basically the go-to A Day to Remember tuning. Yeah, they mess with some other tunings now and then, but drop C for a lot of their stuff. So we've got the tone. There's nothing need to do here. We got the blackface. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so A Day to Remember, I'm thinking a Bogner is basically the amp they've been using for quite a while at this point for those records. And there's a couple Bogner models in Bias FX2. We've got the Crunch. Maybe it's in Crunch, or maybe it might even be in high gain. Let's look in high gain actually here. So, I mean, actually a couple different amps would work. You could go with something like the Classic Insane. Let's go with the Ecstasy 101. That's basically the Bogner amp. Let's get this gate so that we're not getting noise here. Okay, so we got the Bogner Ecstasy 101 going on V2. Yeah, I mean, this is the right amp, but definitely not the right cab. A Greenback, no. So really, I think for A Day to Remember sound, we're going to be wanting to go with either like a tread plate, so like a Mesa cab. Yeah, to me, that sounds pretty close there. For a very Common Courtesy kind of sound there. We're going to need a drive pedal, however. So let's go to drive. Let's go with the 808. Turn the drive down to barely on, and let's dial in this tone and level knob here. Volume so I don't clip here. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're getting a lot closer. We're also gonna dial it in with EQ, obviously, as well, but let's get these knobs correct here. So for gain, it's not bad. I want to balance between the level here, the tone, and then the gain on the amp. That's really important. So I notice when I up the gain on the amp, it gets mushy pretty quick. Maybe on the pedal. All right, that's not bad. That's getting close there. Let's go with up in the gain. Let's turn on the bass, the mids. Let's add a little brightness to this tone. I also want to mess with the cap. So I got a 57. It's kind of off axis here. Yeah, that has a little tighter sound when I move that closer to the cone there. Yeah, that's a lot better. Let me just move it closer to the... We don't want it to be too overly bright. Let's add some mids back. I like the bass where it's at. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty close, actually. Now we're going to add some EQ here. Go with this standard EQ. I'm going to cut off like the low lows, everything below 80, I think. Remember, if you're using downtuned guitars, you don't want to cut like here, for instance, because we're actually cutting out like the fundamental note, which is that low C. So it's actually cutting out like what's important in that fundamental note. So don't do that. Go to like 80 here. Let's add a little mids. Just a little bit. We don't want it to be too overly harsh. Like you don't want to do this. Right, that's going to be harsh really quick. So a low cut, or a high cut, excuse me, around 18K should be good. that's getting pretty close there. Let's take out some low mid flubbiness. Now you don't want to cut too much of this section either, because then it takes out a lot of the beef of the guitar. Like that, no. So I'm gonna cut a little, add a little 120, take a little 250 out. Yeah, that's getting really close there. Let me just add a little more top. I'm going to show you a couple different variations of this tone that you can use for leads or even more clean parts. But this would be a standard rhythm sound. A little too much upper mids. They're not overly bright guitar tones. It's like a main rhythm sound, this would be great. Now, what do we do if we wanted to make this like a lead sound? Let's add a little delay here. Even add a little reverb. I would add an extra EQ. Let's like filter off some more of the highs and the lows here. Yeah. Like for those little dissonant lead parts, that would work excellent for that. Yeah, I'm loving that for sure. And then for like low gain parts, like let's take these settings. For like low gain parts, that comes in sometimes. I would just take the drive pedal off. You could even turn down the gain a little bit. And there you go. Let's mess around with this tone a little bit now that I have a finished product here. All right, let's go ahead and upload that to the tone cloud. I'm just going to put a day to remember here. Day to remember Bogner. Let's go metal. Well, it is kind of rock. It's kind of in between, right? It's pop punk, but let's go metal. A day to remember. Upload that to the tone cloud so you can get that. If you have Bias FX2, you can go ahead and log in there. I mean, that's just a really solid high gain tone as well if you want to mess around with that. Anyways, that's a day to remember sounding guitar tone in Bias FX2 or any amp sim. If you use a Bogner with a Mesa cab, you can basically get the same sound if you apply the EQ settings. So thank you so much for watching. You should like and subscribe to the channel down below. I have tons of videos like this. Give me suggestions for more tones that you would like to see me match. And anyways, I'll see you guys next time.